I'm not hiding anything, but I was definitely hiding my plan to go interview Putin.
Friends, this video actually shocked me, and that's why we're having a reaction video of it today, because Tucker Carlson actually wants to go to Russia to interview Putin when this is, this is a time during a war, a proxy war between Russia and the United States. That's, pretty ballsy.
I was definitely hiding my plan to go interview Putin just because it's an interview.
So how did that happen?
Business.
How do you know the NSA broke into your signal?
Because they admitted it.
Yeah, how dare Tucker Carlson act like a traitor and go listen to what the enemy has to say, especially when that enemy has been trying to make peace with the United States and try to find a deal for about the last 10 years to avoid this conflict. How dare he do that? And thank goodness a 3-letter organization stopped him in the name of freedom of speech and journalistic integrity.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Like, can you tell us about that? Like, how did you find out?
I got a call from somebody in Washington who would know, just trust me, so I went up there for another reason, but this person said, are you going to come to Washington anytime soon? This was a year and a half ago. And I was like, yeah, actually, I'm going to be up in a week. Meet me Sunday morning.
I think it's important for context to add here that Tucker Carlson is actually extremely popular in Russia.
Добрый вечер, добро пожаловать на шоу Такера Карлсона. Раньше часто говорили, что Дональд Трамп глупый. Помните, он идиот.
As I often tell people, every time Tucker Carlson farts, someone in Russia hears it, all right? He's super popular, but you may not really understand the reason, because as I did a Google search about him, apparently every other major news network besides Fox News is trying to make him look like some sort of Putin stooge. But that's not the reason. In fact, it's the same reason why Trump was really popular with Russians. Like with Trump, basically the Russians had the choice between Trump and Hillary Clinton. And Hillary Clinton said, Russia is the enemy and Russia's evil. And Trump said, I'm willing to work with you. Well, that made the choice easy. And since basically every other person in the major media who puts their face in front of the camera has nothing good to say about Russia and accuses Russia of being sort of the ultimate evil on the planet, when Tucker Carlson basically says, well, Russia's really not evil and not particularly concern number one in America, that's not exactly high praise, but from the Russian standpoint of view, it don't get much better than that.
So weird. Like, who does that? Just text me. You know what I mean? Just text me. No. So I go, and this person's like, and this is someone who would know, are you planning a trip to go see Putin? This was the summer before the war started. And I was like, how would you know that? I haven't told anybody. I mean, anybody. Not my brother, not my wife, nobody.
I'm so sorry, guys. At the beginning of the video, I must have misunderstood something, because apparently they used heavy-handed, fascistic, anti-constitutional measures against Tucker to stop him from visiting Putin before the war. I only thought they'd put stuff like that in place with a justification, connected to the war. No. This was all planned well in advance.
And just because, it's one of a million things you're working on. But that was one of them. I want to go interview. Why wouldn't I want to interview Putin?
Of course.
I want to interview Xi. I want to interview everybody, right? Yeah. That's kind of my job.
Well, if your job is to show all sides of current events, or at least a realistic, multifaceted picture of the reality that's happening in front of us, then yes, it's your job. If your job is to push a specific agenda for Washington, then no, it's not.
We want to get Kim Jong-un on here one day.
Of course. We met him.
Hey, I do too. Mr. Kim, if you happen to be listening, why don't you come on my channel sometime? We here at Team Kirby Russia support your right to Juche all day.
How would you know that? Because NSA pulled your text with this other person you were texting. How did you know that? And so I was intimidated. I'm embarrassed to admit, but I was completely freaked out by it. I called a U.S. senator.
Well, that's a feeling I can understand, Mr. Carlson, because someone was out to get you. They weren't out to get you to kill you, but they were definitely out to get you and out to stop you.
Who I know, not that well, but it seems like a trustworthy person. And I told him the story. I said, I just want to tell you this. And then I went on TV on Monday and I'm like, this happened.
One thing I can tell you from my own personal experience of working in the media in Russia and sort of rising to become maybe a C-list celebrity or the most famous foreign guy to come in Russia. I don't really know what to call myself. But once you get the media eye, on the one hand, you get a lot more scrutiny. But on the other hand, if you raise up a problem in the media, boy, can that problem get solved quick. So it is very good that Tucker is actually bringing this up and bringing it out rather than keeping it a secret. Because, I'll put it this way, people with a lot of secrets become targets. But once the secrets are out, well, destroying the target doesn't really matter anymore, does it?
And so they had, And Congress asked NSA, and NSA is like, yes, we did this, but for good reason. What would be a good reason to read my, what? But the head of NSA, it's fine. It gets, because everyone's in on it.
Everyone's in on it. That's the key feature. And boy, is that a disheartening thing to hear. Everyone's in on it.
Republicans and Democrats are all in on it. And by it, I mean the assumption there's no privacy whatsoever, that they have a right to know everything you're saying and thinking.
That's scary.
And that's
bro.
just not a right as far as I'm concerned. You have by the way, if you have no privacy, you have no freedom. Freedom is predicated on privacy.
And I would say not only freedom is predicated on privacy, because he makes a good point. I mean, if you have zero privacy, that must mean you have pretty much zero freedom to act, because anything you do that's wrong or even partially wrong or could be interpreted as wrong, well, then you could be punished for it. But this also kind of gets into a power dynamic, because in general, if you have a lot of wealth and power, you seem to have a lot more privacy. And it's an island. So not only is privacy related to freedom per se, but it's also related to power dynamics. Because if you're a slave, yeah, you have no freedom, but you have no power. And you certainly have no privacy.
It's like none of your business.
You don't even think about that. Like they can just go through your
completely.
phone and find everything.
They did it to me, so I know that for a fact. But again, if you have no privacy, you have no freedom.
So anyways, guys, if you enjoyed this video and you like the opinions coming out of my big fat mouth, then join up on my Telegram channel. That's Tim Kirby Hardcore on Telegram. Link, of course, in the description.